thank you for both joining us today. It is also the last session of the day, so we appreciate you being here. We appreciate you being here as well. So the title, it talks about demand trends, so that's the perfect place to kick off. What are the demand trends driving the boom in the, the luxury brand and hotel partnership scenario? Siegfried, you can kick off.
Well, first, thank you for having me here on the stage, and thank you for everyone to being here. Knowing that when I asked the people are going to attend, they all said, "Oh, this is a graveyard session." And
it's not going to be that way with us.
It's not the graveyard session. I think the best is for the end.
Saving the best to last, for sure.
Clemence and me are here in order to talk about the two brands, which are the fashion lifestyle brands we are both representing somehow. And we can see the trend is definitely there. The trend is dominated by, let's say, saturation as well of luxury and as well of new experiences, right? The customers, when you talk to them, and everyone gets more informed about the global hospitality trends. And everyone sees, I want something different. So everyone comes up with absolutely different concepts for different pockets, for different clients and expectations. And we see a clear niche in the demand when it comes to this lifestyle luxury. And we can talk later about the successes and less successes.
Exactly,
but this is a very critical point to understand that it is not an easy ride to develop a dual brand with a luxury brand. Can be very successful, and it has been proven in the past, but it's a difficult ride. But there is many motivations why people and why investors are doing this, or developers. But there's definitely a need in the market for this niche of developing that.
Okay, we'll come on to those motivations in a moment. Clemence, demand trends. I mean, I think you were saying when we had a conversation about how well the brand is received here.
Yes, correct. I actually remember studying that specific topic 15 years ago, and I was doing my dissertation on the brand expansion strategy of Giorgio Armani himself, that, from a fashion designer, then expanded to Armani Casa, Armani Restaurant, Armani Nightclub, Armani Hotel, and that was, 15 years ago, and that trend is still ongoing, and I think, for me, it's a very exciting topic. I'm coming from a FAUCHON brand, which is a culinary brand, a gourmet brand, and for me the expansion towards Hôtel also comes quite naturally, and the benefits is very much from both parties, the brand and the operator, working on a common goal. So I think it makes a lot of sense, and from a consumer point of view, you really get the opportunity to be immersed in the brand itself. So it's a journey, it's a new world, it's the world of the brand that you get to stay at. I think that's pretty cool.
And you're saying FAUCHON really resonates well with Middle East.
Yes,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
For sure.
I was quite surprised to see actually 96% of the UAE nationals know the brand, and
that's a pretty high recognition rate, isn't it? So
yeah.
You're already on a winner there. Why do these brands want to enter the hotel space? Because as you rightly said, it's not plain sailing, is it? Siegfried?
Well, you have these luxury brands who would like to extend and expand their customer base somehow, right? So the hotels are a natural flow of people coming in and coming out, and you have a lot of people who has the money in order to spend as well. So at first, motivation is definitely to expand the product, to get more knowledge about certain products, because every hotel that you build with a brand together, it's a flagship for the brand at the same time. It's definitely positive for the brand, but can be as well somehow a negative if the brand is not really protected by standards, by consistency in terms of service and in terms of quality and in terms of, and I heard the panel before talking about the investment and the FFNE and OSNE, and all that is absolutely true.
Yes.
But there is definitely benefits for the luxury brand to develop their brand within a hospitality, and we have seen in the past as well, it started maybe with some suites, and I remember there was in Bavaria, there is a Karl Lagerfeld suite.
Right,
in a normal hotel. So this got immediately a premium, not because it was different, it just had a name on it and some touches to that, right? And you have Dior as well, that's the same. So this luxury brand started entering into the hospitality in different ways. And now it goes into, some luxury brands are buying hotels, some luxury brands are just operating by themselves. and others are really joining hands with the bigger or smaller brands in order to support the growth and the profitability of that kind of hotels, because this is another subject, how to make these hotels with a higher standard profitable, and how to get the premium out of the rates that you would like to have.
And Clemence, I'll come on to you in a second, but what I wanted to ask you about, because what you told me when we had our chat about the client databases that can drive new demand, and what you told me about China and H Rewards, can you just tell the audience and share what you were saying about where that demand is really is fueling it?
I mean, let me start saying, whenever you start this kind of brand, you don't need to build a brand anymore, because the brand is already there. So it's already a big uplift. When you open that kind of property, you have already a natural attraction coming to your lifestyle luxury brand. This is one thing. Second, and I mentioned to you about our Chinese owning company, and we have 200 million people of H Rewards. And the owner said very clearly, I'm very eager to develop that. I want that, because automatically it helps the brand Porsche in order to sell more cars and be more visible to that. And the first thing when we have been, there's some question, there's maybe a Porsche driver here, but the point is that when we launched this in I think end of 2021, the first one who sent a mail to our head office was all the Porsche owners and Porsche associations who were eager and asked us, where can we go and when can we go and when is the first opening?
So they're driving it, owners and consumers.
You know, the brand is very emotional, right? A brand, and you all know that, right? We all wear kind of brands because we're attached to that. And this is the same with the brands we are developing, right? The FAUCHON. If you go to Place La Madeleine, FAUCHON is everywhere, and it's just a real landmark there. And it's emotional. And when I see Middle Eastern people traveling, is it to Paris and go to FAUCHON, or is it to Stuttgart and drive a Porsche? It's very emotional. So this is already a natural attraction to many, many people.
So we've talked about what's in it for that side, but what's in it for hotel operators? Clemence?
I think it's a great opportunity for the hotel operator to reaffirm, first of all, their service capabilities, also elevate their reputation. And I think this partnership is very crucial in the success of a brand hotel. What I see is that, for example, FAUCHON decided to partner with Aleph, because Aleph, being a white label hotel operator or a third-party hotel operator, has the capability to really deliver a service, any service standard can operate.
Do you think it was the flexibility in being that kind of operator, rather than being, we're a Marriott or a Hilton or a whatever? Yeah,
I think that helped for a brand like that. And then what also I think is quite crucial is really the communication and the common objective. So the brand really wants to protect their brand identity, making sure that their existing customer experience the same level of excellence in the hotel. The operator, on the other hand, has the exact same objective. So it's a really, really successful collaboration when both have the same vision and objective, in my opinion.
My mic's running out. Can I have a mic, please? I'm quite loud, though, fortunately. Siegfried, I was going to say, what's in it for you? What's in it for Deutsche Hospitality? What does it bring to the table for you guys?
I mean, what has been said is absolutely true, but I have been involved in a couple of deals initially, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, developing these brands. And I think the crucial thing is start from the beginning. Who will have the authority on deciding the brand standards in the properties and the properties you're going to develop? Because I've seen negotiation ongoing, and ultimately then there's a board of directors who is sitting there, and to take a call on, are we buying the chandelier which costs you 1 million, or are we going the chandelier who costs you 300,000?
Yes.
Or are we, this is so crucial from the beginning, and it's really like you have 4 board members, 2 ones saying right, 2 ones saying left, and you are there in the middle. So somehow it is important to really nail down from a contract perspective who is in charge of what part in the design, in the development, in the conceptualization of the whole thing, because ultimately it needs to be sustainable. And the brands, we all understand them, the value of that, but there needs to be as well sometimes some compromises in order to have a successful deal which is sustainable as well. So I think you're absolutely right what you say, the collaboration and communication is key, but it needs to be in a contract, firmly written, who will decide what.
Right, so it has to be set in stone then.
I think it has to be
because
set
otherwise
in
costs
stone.
get out of control.
Well, costs get out of control, and emotions are taking over from some people, right? And rightly so. But you need always to have someone who is there, and if it's the contract, then it's the contract. Who is really putting down what will we do? And we have seen in the past involved in brands, luxury brands, they started, opened 2 hotels, and then closed them again. This we don't want. Nobody wants that.
And I'm going to ask you about something about that in a minute. But while I think of it, is there an exception where one is more dominant than the other? For example, this morning I was listening to Diriyah, in Saudi Arabia, and they were saying about how Giorgio Armani himself is being ultra flexible and basically really bending to the Naji architecture. I made quite a few notes on this because I was fascinated. He's obviously being told what to do by Diriyah. Good on him. But do you think that's, is that the norm or not really? Are you lost for words?
No, I didn't lose the words. But it's, brands, I mentioned it before, it's very emotional. And the brand owner is even more emotional about it. And I've seen some brand owners discussing for hours about the spoons and the knives and the forks and the napkin and this and that.
Yeah.
It's different. Let's face it, it's not an easy walk in the park, right? So
and each relationship's different, isn't it?
Each relationship. So if the example you mentioned, there is some flexibility, and we listen to the hotel operator whose only interest is to have a very successful hotel, being proud in terms of ownership, in terms of brand, in terms of operation, in terms of profit, then it's good. But not everyone is in the same league.
And obviously, when we talk about Armani, that brand has had success in the hotel space. Clemence, do you think it's much easier with F&B brands? Because there's a natural affinity.
Yeah, we could say that, and there are great collaborations that can be put in place. I see, for example, the development. We also have a hotel, FAUCHON has a hotel being developed in Diriyah Gate as we speak, and I see great involvement from the Paris culinary team with the F&B concept development and the menus and the recipes, etc., trying to really immerse as well the local and culture heritage. In the design, but also in the culinary experience. So I think it does help, absolutely. We have a common goal and quite a lot of synergy in certain departments, obviously. Yeah.
Now, Siegfried asked me to ask him the harder questions. So.
Go ahead.
Now, you were involved in Missoni in Kuwait, and it just didn't work, did it? What went wrong? Tell us. Why was it a failure?
You asked. There is someone involved now.
I told you it was worth staying for this session.
No, it's very fine. I think we're here as an industry, and we are here to learn from each other. And so, initially one of the most important things if you launch a brand like this, very powerful, is the location. Right? Let's face it. If you open that kind of brand in New York or in Paris or in London or Dubai, has a different start and kickoff. Immediately the value of your brand is increasing by many percentage, just you have the right location and open with the right spot with all the facilities that you need to have, right? So,
wrong place, wrong time.
Too much into the details, but there was circumstances why at that time this hotel was chosen to be the first one to launch the brand. Looking back, maybe that has been a mistake in looking into that property and then just go to and wait. Sometimes you have to wait for the right opportunity, right? And if there is a Steigenberger Porsche design around the Burj Khalifa, just put it there and the success is guaranteed. And the years to come, it will be flying.
Is that where we're going to see one then?
Absolutely. I didn't say that, Jenna, but for us, the point, for our brand is that we would love to see a first hotel coming up in Asia, in China if possible, because you have so many Porsche owners there, and so many ownership there, and so much drive into that. So having a first hotel in Shanghai would be wonderful, and having a second by Dubai, and third one in other destinations. So this we are targeting, the right place, the right location, and it will be a unique experience, what you could expect from design, Porsche, stylish, and really a unique experience that we would like to deliver.
And talking about location, I mean, obviously it can't really be a copy and paste. And Clemence, obviously there's already FAUCHON hotels in Japan and Paris. But if there's properties here, how will you nuance it according to the market? How will it be slightly different?
Yeah, the idea for FAUCHON is really not to do a copy-paste. So the Parisian hotel is very Parisian chic, influenced in the architecture of Paris, but Kyoto has been really beautifully imbibing the local culture. Diriyah Gate has a lovely Oriental influence in the design. So I think it's about creating a world, you know, within that brand, and not copy-pasting, adapting to the destination and catering to the clientele of that specific destination as well.
Scott, I will let you ask a question in a minute. Can I just ask one more? Am I allowed? What about training of staff? Because Siegfried, you were talking about how important it is for that brand to be retained. How does this work? How can we translate this to the service ethic? I mean, what will you be doing in terms of training staff to make sure they're Porsche?
No, we had an internal discussion, of course, when we kicked off the brand. How can we make sure that we have the right staff? And we all know the challenges we are facing. So it really to have, from a company perspective, a total different approach of delivering a lifestyle luxury brand. So it's not a traditional intercity hotel, Steigenberger hotel, what we do in terms of training and in terms of staff mentality. So we really need to go open a new page of delivering different service. So it's really that kind of mindset you have to, in terms of training, and we are lucky we have a Steigenberger Academy back in Germany, where we started working on the Steigenberger Porsche Design Training Program.
Nice.
So just only that, in order to really make sure that whoever is working there has been trained as per the standards of Steigenberger Porsche Design and not the other hotel brands. So it's really set it apart. And the part of training is everything goes, you have to put it apart and really dedicated team, brand ambassadors for that brand in order to make it successful. And if you look into the successful brands, the Bulgari, which is one of the successful stories, not only in the Middle East, but they are now 7 hotels, I think 3 to come. I think this is all about setting apart a structure, including training, including different staff members, who are representing best the company and the values.
So like you say, it's got to be so well planned, every aspect of it, including getting that collaboration right and set in stone so it doesn't get out of control, like you say, with, you know, Missoni knife and forks and chandeliers and all sorts, and getting the training right too.
The heart of the business, we all know that is the staff, right?
Yeah.
So if you cannot deliver consistency, if you don't have the right staff, then every brand on the planet will not be successful. And in these days where everyone is social media, giving comments and taking pictures and this and that, it's crucial to have the right staff on board, otherwise it will not work.
And I'll let Clemence answer about the staff training side of things, and then Scott will have his moment in the limelight.
From a FAUCHON point of view, we have the SOPs that were established by FAUCHON, including some nice, you know, service rituals, personal touch. This, you know, vision is put into action by Aleph Hospitality, managing the hotel as such, making sure that everything is up to the FAUCHON standard and ideal vision. But what is great as well is that FAUCHON has developed a culinary school, a gastronomy school.
Right.
So we can really take advantage of that and send a lot of, you know, team members to that school and really get, again, imbibed in this FAUCHON culture and expertise in terms of F&B.
Yeah, training's crucial, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, I think we can take a quick question from the audience. Just one, just Scott, the one and only.
Yeah, the gentleman is right. When you're talking about these, especially with these designer brands, is limiting what has to be branded. I've worked with a couple of the operators that did an association with a retail brand, and they wanted everything, you know, the china, the ashtrays, the toilet holder, and it just became unfeasible for the developer to build it. But the bigger question I have is, with some of these brands, if it's Fairmont, I know what I'm getting. If it's Bulgari, okay, I know that Marriott's going to run it. But there was a sign on the Sheikh Zayed Road a few months ago for fashion TV branded residences. And what am I going to get? Maybe I'm going to get a lingerie show and swimsuit show through the lobby every day. It could be quite interesting. And I made an inquiry, you know. but you know,
He's already bought one.
What does fashion TV know about running a residence? And then with your product, with the Porsche or Ferrari, what am I going to get? Am I going to get a car in my living room? Because it's not a lifestyle hospitality brand.
Maybe you will.
I think the first thing what you said about there is now any brand comes and want to develop a residence, right? What can you expect from a TV? And there is no trends, and I've seen hotels opening in Paris from a lifestyle magazine called Elle. So they start opening hotels in Paris. Fine, what is to expect? Same for the TV, whatever do you expect? Yes, I think there should be an end, there should be a logic to that. And I think we need to have these brands behind, the powerful brands who can feed the hotels with their businesses, right? And if you look into the Porsche design, please look into the Miami Porsche Design Tower. There is one, and got famous because recently, I don't know if you knew, there is a player called Lionel Messi who moved from Paris to Miami and is living in that tower and is very happy, and he can drive his car in the basement, has an elevator, go up, and can store up to 3 cars next to his apartment, right, in the 35th floor. So, of course, this is a unique product. I would not say that this is the standard, but this is what could happen if you have money and you are, you just think big and have the location where everything is possible.
Well, and let's face it, if it's going to happen anywhere, it will happen here, won't it? So, you know what, I'd love to carry on the conversation, but we have run out of time. So, ladies and gentlemen, please give Clemence and Siegfried a massive round of applause. Thank you.